Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Hey, how about this? We decided we'd come out to the Rockies for a little look and see and stuff. Decided that we hadn't done an intro or a close for our next show. So with the help of some cable guys out of Denver, we arranged to use their mountaintop studio. It's kind of cool up here. I think you should have seen the rehearsal. We had the wind blowing stuff around like crazy. But anyhow, welcome to COA today, Living Smart, Living Well. How do you like the purple hair? It's kind of cool. The trying to be like one of the kids. Let me tell you about today's show, all right? We're back to a cooking segment with Ruth Cooper. You've seen her before on this show. She's head of the Nitwits. Excuse me, it used to be the Nitwits. K-N-I-T. It's now Knit Together, the wonderful group of ladies. Then we have a thing called CarFit. It's a program offered by the Council on Aging. And as you age, unfortunately, some of us shrink and what have you, and they adjust your car to fit you. CarFit. Mirrors, seats, sometimes adding a form of a pillow, and obviously it's for safety and comfort. And as I always say, keep your eye on our bulletin that comes out every month because it will, I think twice a year they're going to try to do this CarFit. It's free, of course. It's absolutely beautiful. Then we have our second part of our farming tool study, if you will, okay? And Jimmy Giannakakis, who was on the last show, is being joined by his partner in crime, Pulsifer. And these two guys should be admired. They do a program that really is given to the Winthrop school kids after the normal school day, and they go through a variety of subjects. Obviously, this particular presentation to those students was about farming. And then finally we have an interview with one of my favorite seniors, a friend of mine, Jason Sokolov. He's a retired attorney, not to be confused with Jim Sokolov, who does, but anyhow. And he talks about some of the interesting things that he does in retirement. And believe me, some of them are pretty interesting. But with anything, let's get going here. And hopefully you will enjoy this. Yes, ladies, it's time for a little cooking. Take a look at this woman. Does she look familiar? She's been on the show twice before. She is head of the Knit Together group down at the Council on Aging. She leads a walking group. There's many other things. Ruth Cooper, say hello to the people.
Hello.
All right. Now, before that, I want to tell you something about Ruth, then we'll get into the cooking. Put on my glasses here so I can see this. Recently, Senior Care Inc. Passed out some awards. One was to Brad Hill for his work with seniors. And the Myra Herrick Outstanding Older American Award is given yearly to an individual who has made a significant contribution to the welfare of elders in an innovative, creative, or dedicated way. Here's the winner. Let's bring it up. This is that all? Okay, that's it. All right, thanks. All right, what are you going to cook for us?
We're going to cook pesto on spaghetti, and you're going to make some salad dressing for the salad.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm going to make the pesto using basil and parsley, and rather than pine nuts, I'm going to use walnuts.
Basil.
Got some basil.
Well, why don't you start?
Start, okay. All right, well, I like to rinse the basil and leave it wet because what we like to have in our pesto is water, which is not traditional, but it saves on the amount of oil. Even though olive oil is good for you, we'll have plenty of that. So I'm going to put the basil right down in the food processor.
There's some on the counter.
And there's some on the counter. That's for decor. Yes. I'm going to add some parsley, which I've washed, because parsley can be sandy.
You can pretty much get basil. I mean, it's nice to have your own fresh plants, but you can pretty much get it year round now.
Yes, you can.
Right? I mean,
yes, you can. I'm adding water.
Lord only knows what
puree
it comes
it.
from in December.
Well, it's still good. It's still good.
You know, I've been buying occasionally some of that pre-peeled garlic. Have you seen it? They sell it at the market.
Like in a bag, already.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great way to have it delivered. Paul, could you drain the spaghetti?
When they drain the spaghetti?
Yep.
Oh my God.
We have to keep you busy. Now I'm going to add some walnuts. A lot of walnuts. Walnuts are good for you. The term moofa.
You just want me off the screen.
Walnuts, so they're good for you. Now I'm adding a little olive oil. And I'm going to add some lemon juice.
Done with the pasta.
Done with the pasta. Good job.
What's that?
That's the timer. Everything's done. A little lemon juice, a little on the counter. And add some minced garlic. Fresh is really good. The pre-peeled is really good. Today we're going to use the minced out of the jar. I hope you like garlic.
I love it.
All right.
I love it. Keeps witches away, though.
Does it? This is the Parmesan that I've grated. I like to get the fresh Parmesan and in a chunk and grate it, and I like to always just make sure it's good.
Well, that's a good idea.
No doubt. Here we go. I'm going to add some salt.
Kosher salt?
You'll notice, Paul, I'm not measuring. I know recipes are pretty handy to have around. And I confess I've looked at recipes, but with pesto, I like to just throw some ingredients that I like to mix together. Sometimes I use pistachios.
Wander over the culinary landscape.
Yeah, yeah. And the only problem is my husband says, "Can you make that again?" And my answer is no.
Maybe.
I didn't ask you how you like your pesto with a lot of olive oil. I already told you I don't use a lot.
Well, we wanted a little bit to, you know, wanted to cover the pasta. Well,
Would you add more oil?
passable.
Or do you
Well,
want?
no, it's very good. I would add a little bit more olive oil.
Okay.
I know that you generally use your pesto cold.
I do, room temp cold.
And, see, I tend to use it on pasta.
So Paul's going to teach me how to heat the pesto.
This business of not following exactly the recipe. It's got two basic cooking realms: baking and savory. And you are on the
Savory.
savory side here. Baking, you
Baking, you
have to be
have to when you're talking with baking powder and baking
chemistry.
soda. It's
Okay,
chemistry.
I'm sorry.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So
Anyway.
this is done. Should I scrape it out into a little bowl for you?
Yes. Let me get you a pan. What I'm going to suggest you do is you add a little bit of butter. You have butter? You want me to get the butter?
It's in the microwave.
It's in the microwave. What I do is I add a little butter.
There's a little
fair amount of
red-handled
butter,
knife for you.
Actually, a fair amount. I'm big. You know, Julia Giles said, you know, it's necessary to have butter.
Butter.
And some olive oil.
Oh. There you go.
Extra virgin, of course.
Yes, well, you know, I'm going to
No, what?
tell you that's not the olive oil that is on the label. I buy it in a red can.
55-gallon drum?
And I decant it into that bottle.
I actually buy Berrio over at Costco sometimes.
Now we know why I didn't add a lot of olive oil to the
That's a little tad a lot, but it's okay. And then you don't have to use the whole thing. Mm-hmm. You'll see. Mm-hmm. We'll add some pesto to the pan.
Yeah.
You know something? Would you mind if I did this? I'm going to pour a little oil down here.
Sure.
I do make mistakes.
Well, that's just you eyeballed it and saw. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You stay here. I'm going to put this on the stove.
Okay. I'll stay right here and tell you what Paul is doing. He's trying to figure out my stove.
I got it.
Paul's a good cook. And he's going to show you how to make a salad dressing. Yep.
That's good. All right. For this, what I would suggest is a standard and basic French vinaigrette. Carefully measure out half a teaspoon. See? How careful?
Yes.
Pepper. Ooh, Ruth has a fancy grinder.
Press the button on top.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Oh my God. This is obscene.
There's a light for when we're in the dark. You can see how much.
Is this a Williams-Sonoma thing?
For a romantic dinner by candlelight, you have to see how much pepper you're using.
$125? Whoop, watch the butter and oil. Go over there.
Okay.
And I add a little garlic. The only thing I do all the time in the same procedure is the salt and pepper. I put that in. I add a little garlic. Olive oil, of course. Using Ruth's cheating method here. Oh, so what I was going to tell you is, so I buy this Berrio at Costco.
Yes.
But I have a very fancy bottle that I got in Italy that I keep near the stove.
Yeah.
And
So you did the same.
I fill, yeah. I mean, we're just going to have a small amount, right? Mm-hmm. So that. Cider vinegar. For some reason, I always use cider vinegar. Sometimes
I like
with
cider
Italian
vinegar.
food, I make red wine vinegar, but
Now that looked like 2 to 1? Roughly?
A little less.
3 to 1.
I won't do how I usually test it at home, which is with my finger. I'm sure you do that.
I don't taste. I serve. Ken. My husband Ken is my taster.
Okay.
I'm going to turn this off.
Yep. And I add a little Dijon mustard. Carefully measured out.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
Sometimes I add a bit of sugar.
Would you like some sugar?
No.
Would you like a sweet and low?
Good God. Are you serious?
I have it handy.
I got it off screen. We'll do some education here. She freezes her butter, which means she doesn't use it very much, which I understand. And there you have it. You want to taste this?
Oh, that looks good. Give me a clean spoon. Is that it? That's a clean spoon.
It's clean enough.
All right, I'll taste. It looks great. It's really emulsified beautifully. You did a great job, Paul.
So I've created this emulsion, which can go on the salad. What are we going to put it on?
Well, I have a salad bowl here I'm bringing. And I've gotten some salad greens. I like to buy the pre-mixed salad greens sometimes when I can't get the fresh lettuce at the local farm.
Okay.
And it's usually pretty good. Sometimes
I've
you
used that.
pick out a few things, and it's triple washed, so it's pretty good.
I've been known to use a little white wine sometimes, but this works.
White wine instead of or in addition to?
In addition to. Now what you're going to have to do is heat it up a little bit once it's kind of blended. Sometimes you use a bowl with steeper sides because it can get sloppy.
Yep,
yep. See?
Yeah, when you sort of emulsify that, you're doing good.
Really?
Yeah.
Keep doing that for a bit.
Okay.
Just pop it on the stove.
And on the stove, okay.
We should have a gaffer or a gopher or something. I'd say that's just about it.
Wow, that looks delicious.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, I
I'm
see.
gonna go get the pasta
Okay.
and put it in a bowl. Listen, we're at the senior center right outside. Could be a little bit better weather, but why are we here? There's a program going on called CarFit. It is held once a year. It is free. It is a triad program. Triad is the joint operation of the COA, the fire department, and the Essex County Sheriff's Department, I believe. Anyhow, they do a lot of these programs. What CarFit is as you get older, perhaps your posture, and even some of us have been known to get reduced in height, and they fit the car. They adjust the mirror, the seats, and what have you, to make it safer. So we're going to go over and watch them go through a vehicle. Let's go. This is one of our candidates. She's just pulled up, and they're going to go through this CarFit program. So I'll try to explain it to you as they go along. This is Dorothy Butcher, and they're measuring the distance, between her and the steering wheel.
The seatbelt and the airbag kind of work together.
Oh, I see.
So if the airbag were ever to deploy, this seatbelt is going to stop you before you hit the airbag. If you didn't have the seatbelt on, you would go right towards the airbag, and it does do some damage sometimes.
Sure.
So you're good. And how about looking out? You got plenty of room looking out. You can see straight ahead fine?
Yes.
Plenty of room? Okay.
In the line of sight above the steering wheel.
They do.
The steering wheel properly tilted towards the driver's chest, not head.
Steering wheel? 'Cause it's not...
That's not adjustable anyway.
Oh, that should be.
No.
No?
Oh, you want me to hold it like this?
Oh, that's not. Huh? Now you got plenty of room anyway, huh?
Time for a new car, Dorothy.
What? Tell me.
All the way under, so right where my finger is, right there. That's a lever right there. If you were to pull that out, the steering wheel actually moves
for
up and
goodness
down.
sake. Well, where do you want it now?
Oh, is that comfortable where you were?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Right about there? And all you do is you press that back forward and it locks.
Oh, that's nice. I couldn't see. I didn't read the book.
Dorothy's as bad as a man, not reading the manual. But
Now you can see the speedometer okay from where you're sitting, right? Through the wheel or above the wheel. That's a good distance. We already got that. The head restraint, does the vehicle have an adjustable head restraint? Yes. And is it adjusted okay for your height?
so now they're going to adjust the headrest
Is it not comfortable?
to put it in, I guess, the comfort zone, and also a safety
Feel better?
feature.
Yeah, you want it to. Right about there would be good.
Okay. Okay.
All right? You know how to do that if you have to? Oh, I just moved it again.
Why does it change its position? I don't know.
This button's very sensitive.
Yeah.
It's locked now, so that should be
Okay,
good.
is that the right position
Yep.
on my head?
Yep.
Okay.
Feel better?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's achieved a safe distance. How about your seat position? You know how to adjust your seat position with the switch?
I just learned.
You just learned, okay. It's comfortable where you like it now, and you know how to change it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You read the manual for that one?
You got some homework to do there, Dorothy, you know.
Can you see all your gauges on the dash, Dorothy?
Yeah. This one is a little. Yeah.
So as you can see, it's a pretty thorough procedure. Making sure that Dorothy can check her gauges. They move the steering wheel.
Step on the gas pedal with the flat part of your foot, not your toes, correct?
Right.
Okay.
How about the ease between moving between the gas and the brake? No problem? Yeah, no problem at all. Your knees don't hit up here or anything? Okay, great.
All right, let's do the brake lights.
Now they're going to check the lights, as you do when you get your inspection sticker.
Brake lights are okay.
Now bear in mind, this is a free program, and one of the reasons why we want you to read the bulletin that comes out monthly. And it's held once a year. You do make an appointment, but you come in. I don't know, it looks like it takes 20 minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes. It was pretty cool, and I think Dorothy over here is happy already with some of the adjustments that they have made. In fact, she just learned that her steering wheel is adjustable, which she didn't know. I could probably use that because sometimes my own vehicle, the rear view mirror is a little tilting the wrong way.
Rear view mirror.
What's the whole procedure? It takes 15, 20 minutes or so? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's see if she can see you by turning her head.
Yes.
Yes. The other side.
So they're checking the sight lines by looking at the guy in the back as he moves side to side. in the
She
vehicle.
wants you to do it again. Yes.
This is a pretty cool program. And again, I want to stress that it's free. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3 cars being inspected. And I think the total teams, I think they can do 4 at a time. And in a minute, we're going to go over and see the accessories that can be provided. So let's go take a look at those. With Sheila Taylor, you've met her before on this show. She is the director, has been director for a year and a half of the Council on Aging. Is that right?
That's right.
That's right, okay.
April Fools is my anniversary.
Oh, that's cool. All right, so anyhow, we're going to show you some of the accessories that are available upon the recommendation of the inspector, right?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us and point to them what they are?
Yep. We'll start with this one. This is a really handy one. It's has a couple of functions. One is to crack open a windshield or a window in case the worst happens and the car goes over a bridge or something and you need to get out of the car and your door won't work. So this works for that. The other
So
really...
you wouldn't give that to like the former custodian Ricky Dorr, would you?
I would not.
Oh.
I wouldn't trust him with that.
Right.
He's in the audience, by the way. The other really good function of this is that it sticks in the doorway of the car. There's like a little hinge or a hook where the door latches on to the car. I don't know, Patsy, if you can focus in more, but see there's a little hook right here.
Oh yeah,
The door
I got it,
shuts.
I got it.
So then the tool kind of hooks right onto that hinge.
Okay.
And it becomes another railing, say, for somebody to get out of their car.
Oh.
It just helps stabilize them so that they have something else to hold on to get out of their
Multi-functions.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
So this is very handy. Also, it has a little cut so it can cut a seat belt if somebody is pinned in their car too.
Oh my. Now the person would have to buy this, right?
Yes, if people need help purchasing these items, our staff at the Council on Aging can help them. A lot of these we just ordered right on Amazon, and we'll plug in the person's credit card, and it will be delivered right to their home. So we're happy to do that. and
Cool.
search. Yep.
All right.
Okay, so this is one that helps pull your seat belt over. You attach this to the to the back part, and then this is just a lever that helps you grab it easier to pull it over.
So like a little extension.
Yep, a little extension.
Okay.
Then this is not quite how it should be to show you, but this is called a key holder.
Yes.
So it's for people that have arthritis in their hands, and your keys get attached to this inside here, and so it will stick out. And instead of when people have arthritis, their hands you can't grab too well, so this helps you hold it like that instead. So where your arthritis won't let you hold tight, you don't have to hold tight, and then you turn this to turn your car ignition on. So that helps. So that was a handy.
Is that a sample?
This is a sample.
See, because I have a little arthritis in my.
Yep.
Anyhow, maybe we'll talk about that off camera.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Then these are extensions to your rear view mirror,
Uh-huh.
and it just gives you a wider area to see.
Cool.
Yep. And this is for, I believe, the side view mirror. I'm not sure on that one. We'll check it out
Okay.
before we
All
order
right.
it, though. Okay, then these are for when you sit down. This is a swivel. So you put it on your seat and it lets you slide in and out of your car without having to, really move your body. This will move your body for you easier.
Huh.
Yep, so you kind of just sit that way and then you turn this way and then you're facing the front.
That's kind of cool.
And I'm getting this back right now as we speak. This is another very handy.
One of the elves just brought in another piece here.
This is a wedge that people can put on their seat to raise up their body so that they can, be higher in the seat if they're short or their torso is short, and it just lifts them up a little bit.
Why don't you bring those down to Florida? We drove down to Venice and Naples once, and you see all these Cadillacs with no heads.
Yes, you might see the top of the head with this. Another home solution to the wedge is just a cushion. And this you can just put on your seat, and this will raise you a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay. And then we have one more that we have here, and this is called a leg lift. And this is for people, maybe they've had leg surgery or just have some trouble lifting a leg to get in or something. So this has a hook on the bottom, or a loop. You slip your foot in there, and then you hold this part and you kind of drag your leg over. And so you can get into the car.
Cool.
So there are a lot of tools that for people that are still able to drive but have some physical limitation to get in the car, or that just limits one of their abilities. These tools help them to still be able to maintain that independence while they're still capable of driving.
While we were watching one of the refits, we did mention that it's free. It is free, right?
What is free? Sorry?
The whole refit program?
The CarFit program, yes, it is
CarFit.
free. So today's event, we have, I think, about 18 people that have signed up for the event. So that was all full. But ongoing at the fire station, people can call either Jeff Stone or Keith Carlson at the fire station and set up a private appointment with them. And they will do that CarFit for them one-on-one.
Is that free too?
That's free too, yes.
There you go. How's that for a helpful hint here to our viewers? So,
because so many of us don't utilize our cars the way we should, and that just helps us, be smarter in our driving skills.
Why are you staring at me when you said that? Is that
not naming any names?
I drive the van, so I drive it properly. I try to. Maybe I ought to get fitted to the van.
That's a good point.
Before we leave, I just got a flash there. Our camera lady was telling us there's another program that's going on this afternoon, right?
Yep. Today we billed as our day of car safety. So in the morning we had the CarFit.
Yep.
Then at lunchtime we have a special luncheon, and people that participated in the CarFit program got a special discount to pay for the lunch. Then afterwards, which is another critical component, Eleanor Baker from the American Automobile Association is here doing a presentation on the older, wiser driver. And she's going to talk about a number of topics to help seniors make their, work on maybe make driving a little bit easier, as far as turning your neck and things like that, or just skills that we maybe should refresh a little bit. And all, how driving issues seem to be at the forefront right now. So it's just awareness.
There you go. And it's all free, except for the lunch, right?
Except for the lunch.
All right.
Yep.
But the lunch is being provided by Henry's.
Henry's is catering the luncheon. We're having pulled pork and mac and cheese.
Yes?
Yes. Yeah.
We'll see if there's any leftovers. But anyhow, thank you very much, Sheila.
Thank you, Paul.
And so again, pay attention. Read that bulletin that comes out from the COA. It outlines things like this. Free program. The price is right. You can't get it. So see you around.
Nat Pulsifer here, and with me is Jim Giannakakis. Jim and I did the Ipswich 375th anniversary program together, and since then we've been going to the Winthrop School in March to do programs on different early American tools and techniques that the early settlers used. Today we're going to talk about farming. And this is a program that we did at Winthrop School in March of 2014. The first thing that farmers do is to prepare the soil. And they did that with horse-drawn plows or oxen-drawn plows. They did it with shovels. They did it with a hoe. And then they would smooth the soil with a rake. And when the soil was ready and all the rocks were moved, they would plant seed. Jim has a 1909 seeder device that puts seed. Jim, how does that work?
You keep pushing it as you go along, spacing it so far apart, and you just walk down the rows after row and deposit the seeds, and then...
Okay, now that's for a certain kind of seed, and this is a mechanical seeder. And if you notice closely, Jim, go right on over towards the
cloud. This thing is depositing seeds in a trough, and it also has a membrane back that closes the seeds over in the holes.
So that's an automatic seeder.
It rides right on the hill, because they always put them on the hill when they were planting.
All right, now the next thing that we want to share with you is after the seeds have grown into plants, we have to do the harvesting. Let's go to the harvest. All right, now the next part in the farming process is the harvest. And we are harvesting hay or wheat or oats with this beautiful early American handmade scythe. How does that work, Jim?
As he cut the hay, it would stay right on the arms, and he'd gather it in one row as he went, and then they could take it up with the rakes, and usually a bull rake and the pitchforks.
You were telling me about a film that you saw of men and women in Russia?
Men, women, and children.
In Russia, using scythes
Using
like that?
scythes, but they weren't this tight. They were the open scythes. About 300 of them in a huge field that went right to the horizon. And you could see them all lined up working together to accomplish the harvest.
Let's show us how that works again. Amazing.
You gotta get the rhythm.
Amazing. Now, after the hay or the wheat or the rye or barley is cut, it's necessary to fork it into piles. And here is an early American wooden hay fork made out of a branch with the 3 prongs on it. And he would then throw the hay into a pile. Here is a more modern pitchfork of the kind that is common in barns and stables today.
When the hay settled, it got pretty tough to take the pitchforks and break it out of the pile. So they'd have to cut it so they could pitchfork it to either the barn or onto the wagons for transportation. It just made it easier. It's called a hay knife, 15 bucks. All right, this is a sickle, and they come in different configurations. I have some that are big like this. Every time I saw one different, I would buy it. Now you can see the serrations on this. Well, I have one that's got razor blades on it. They call it a garden sickle. And it has razor blades. As the razors got dull, that's just changed the razors. There was about 15 razors in that thing. It's still in the box, and it costs $2.50.
So now that we're in the storage mode with hay or straw, the farmers would bring it into their barns on wagons and then stack it in the barn. And there are 2 mechanisms that were used for stacking. This is a hay lift or tine, which was hung from a cable and could be drawn up, and as it comes up, the forks close around a load of hay and lift it up, and then it goes on a trolley down to the end of the barn where a rope is pulled on it and the forks open and the hay falls down on the ground. And then men with pitchforks stack it up high. A lot of manual labor. Somebody invented hay bales, and a machine, I think made by Mr. McCormick. Was it McCormick who did?
Yeah.
Developed a hay baler, which meant a rectangular block of hay, and that was moved with a device like this, which picked up a bale of hay with those tines, and again lifted it up, moved it over. The man would pull on that cord, and the bales would drop down. There was often a horse on the end of this rope so that men didn't have to pull it up and down.
That one too.
And on that one as well. Other forms of harvest are apples, where a holder like this, it's on a modern stick, but the farmer could reach way up and collect an apple through the hole and bring it down and then put it into a pouch or into the back of a wagon. Today's revolution in machines has made it a lot easier for farmers, but the processes of preparing the soil, planting the seeds, making the harvest, and storing the harvest are pretty much the same.
Oh, I got to tell you a good story. This morning I talked to Mr. Marini at the Marini farm, and he was in one of his brand new tractors. And he said he has air conditioning, radio. I said, the only thing missing is television. And he started to laugh. These are the haystacks that are like up in Newbury off of Route 1. I was fortunate enough to stack one like this guy's doing with a pitchfork. What they did was cut it. I made left and right-handed sides. I have some hay knives. I have a pitchfork and carrying sticks. These two ladies have carrying sticks. All these guys have pitchforks. This is what's called a hay drag. As the hay was cut with the sides, this guy would come along with a hay drag and bring it in close proximity to the haystacks. This is called a bull rake. It's 5 feet long. The teeth are about 1 foot long, usually made out of locust, which is a hard wood to cut, believe me. And the things that the haystacks stand on are called staddles. Now this is called a gundalow. It was a craft that floated on the water. It was either rowed or poled. These are the poles, and these are the oars that it rode with. They put the hay on this and bring it to a landing where the people picked it up with a hay wagon and drove it off to the barns or whoever they was buying the hay. It didn't prove too well with cattle because of the salt content. They said it affected the taste of the milk. And today they go out there with the machines. It's cheap. They use it for environmental purposes to prevent runoff. It's a cheap type of hay. The real good hay, I don't know what, you probably know better than I do because you're a farmer.
Salt hay is used to mulch plants with strawberries. They'll cover it in the winter, fall with mulch hay. Salt hay sheds water, so it doesn't get soggy and damp. In the early days, our first period houses in Ipswich would put salt hay in between the outside wall and the inside wall as insulation. And because it didn't absorb water like regular grass or hay does, it wouldn't rot inside the building. And you're right, it was not a good animal feed, but they used it when they didn't have any more grass hay. There was a Pulsifer in Rowley who, with a partner, went out on the Rowley Marsh one November to cut salt hay, doing just as this drawing, this model shows. And he and his partner got caught in a storm. and it got dark, and so they could not get ashore in time. They burrowed into a haystack to spend the night. The tide came in, picked the haystack up off the straddle. It floated away. The morning came, they floated back, then the hay bale or the haystack started to disintegrate. So they jumped to another haystack that was floating nearby, and that got them ashore. This wonderful story is in a monograph at the Rowley Historical Society.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to join us in a conversation with Jason Sokolov. Jason, say hello to the people.
Good morning.
Good morning, okay. And Jason is a retired attorney, not to be confused with James Sokolov, who
Correct.
we'll drop it right there.
Correct.
So we don't want to get sued here. Anyhow, Jason has...
We don't get violent
No, we get even.
on these
We
shows.
get even. So, I thought it would be fun to talk to Jason about some of the things that he does in his retirement, because I have found them to be of quite interesting and diverse nature, right? Would you
Okay.
say that? First of all, I want to start about, are you a Baker Street irregular, or are you the, what do you call that?
Well, there are two Sherlock Holmes clubs in the area.
Okay.
The Speckled Band
Yes.
and the Friends of Irene Adler. That's the way they pronounce it. And
What happened to the Baker? I thought the Baker Street irregulars.
did I say the Baker Street
No, you
Irregulars?
said some.
The Speckled Band.
That's a Baker Street.
The Baker Street Irregulars, they are a New York group.
Oh.
The Speckled Band is
Yankee
the Boston
fans.
group. And the Speckled Band is not co-ed, but the Friends of Irene. Don't ask me why. I don't know.
Are we in trouble already?
I don't know why, but the
Really?
Friends of Irene Adler is a Harvard-based group, and they are co-ed.
Was she Sherlock's wannabe girlfriend?
Well, there's a lot of speculation about the intimate nature of their relationship.
We are talking about
I don't-
Sherlock Holmes, ladies and gentlemen. And these
I
are-
have never. Sherlock comes to the meetings, and with Watson. He's getting a little older
boy,
now.
Oh boy, I might have.
He's
I might have
breaking-
bit off more than I can chew here. Go ahead.
He's breaking 160,
Yeah,
but
he's spry,
so
though.
it's nobody asked him what the relationship was.
Okay. Now you think about how active this group is, and we're talking about a fictitious, well, some say fictitious character, right?
When you're at a club meeting, the fantasy is that Sherlock and Dr. Holmes
Are there?
lived. Yeah.
All right. So what do you guys do at these meetings?
Well, you sing Sherlock's favorite songs. You have a
Get out.
Their papers are presented
Okay.
on the topic of Sherlockia. We do
Sherlockia?
speeches are given. We do puzzles. We have little competitions.
Are guests invited to this at all? Or you have to be inducted?
Well, there are two.
Like a secret society or something?
There are vested members, and to be a vested member, you have to make a contribution to Sherlockia, do a paper, that sort of thing.
Not monetary.
I don't do homework anymore,
Right.
so I'm sort of an adjunct member, and these events are open.
Okay. Sherlockia, I like that.
Yeah, well,
Listen, I know you're also active, though. You're a graduate of Northeastern, and you and my high school classmate, Billy Maloney,
we were fraternity brothers.
in the Pershing Rifles? Is that what-
Well, when we were students and we
Yeah.
were ROTC cadets, we belonged to a fraternity called Pershing Rifles.
George Pacheco was in that group,
Yeah.
who is a repeat performer on this program, by the way. He is the He's one of the grumpy old men cooking, if you've never caught that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So we knew George then.
but
Well-
you and Bill, though, are still very active.
Well, we were active in a whole bunch of things.
Okay.
The momentum of your life when you're working is such that you gotta keep on going with some form of work, even though it isn't compensated, whether it's volunteer work, whether it's social things, whether it's
I think it's a very cogent message. How's that for? Huh?
yeah, you can't, after having worked a lifetime, you just can't go home, turn on reruns of Mr. Rogers, and sit on your couch for the next 20 years.
I know a guy, by the way, that upstairs was a member of the Mr. Rogers fan club. And anyhow,
Well, look.
No, I want to ask you about a specific thing that you and Bill are doing as graduates of Northeastern in ROTC. You guys are pursuing a program, and it has to do with World War I. Is that correct?
Not exactly.
There you go.
The
There goes
broader
my facts again.
the broader topic is
Okay.
this. In 2006, there was a very large veterans memorial created, and when it was dedicated, we knew that we hadn't found all the names that should be honored on the memorial.
Okay.
So Bill and I are doing research into that, and it's, by the way, very difficult.
How do you go? I mean, way pre-internet. And, where do you go through old files? I mean, where do you get the? Where do you even start?
there's an archivist at Northeastern, and where you start is you start with the list of graduates.
Okay.
Now, it's not only graduates who get honored and remembered on the memorial, because some people quit during wartime, joined up, were killed. But at least you start with a list of graduates, and then there are a list of casualties.
Okay.
And how you identify a Northeastern graduate named John Higgins from the 15 John Higginses from Boston or the Boston area who were killed is a whole other thing. You search for the obituaries because they are online.
Yeah.
Wow. And even then, when you get the obituary, you can't quite. It's difficult to figure it out. There's an unhappy oddity in this. For example, we know that we have not identified all the Korean War fatalities.
Okay.
Because the school newspaper did not print notices or obituaries,
Back then.
okay, for certain reasons, and a lot of the
We're talking like Hollywood on trial type stuff, you mean? Or Korean War. I mean, it wasn't.
well, it I think was considered destructive to morale, civilian morale.
Okay.
It discouraged people from enlisting. That sort of thing.
Okay.
Remember, a lot of the participants in the Korean War had been in World War II. Some of them were taking delayed degrees, and the government was looking to call them back in, and that sort of thing. So it's very difficult. You'd be surprised how many people are named Joe Smith,
Just how many Higgins, McCarthys, and O'Briens do you have from the Boston area? I mean.
Yeah, that's a particular problem. We have an unusual problem. I won't mention the names because one of the parties is living. In the Vietnam War, had two very close friends, and one flunked his armed forces physical. The other one passed. One who flunked decided, well, he would like to serve. So he served under the name of his friend.
Get out.
And got
Really?
killed.
Oh, my.
So I don't think I'll ever untangle that one. But
That could be messy.
Yeah.
Sticky wicket. What else you got going, though? You seem to you always got something going
Well,
on.
I do, like every old guy, I belong to everything. Now, the reason that I stopped working is that my hearing is not so great. So
What?
I go to the
What?
so I go to these meetings.
Don't worry, he's got
like-
good batteries in today, folks.
Like I belong to the Masonic Lodge here.
Okay.
And I go to the meetings. Of course, I don't hear anything. Maybe hear every third word. But you have dinner. You see your old friends.
Motion to adjourn. What?
Yeah. Thanks. I have coffee every morning at Zumi's.
I see you
And
at Zumi's.
That's a place where you meet everybody you ever knew
Yeah.
in Ipswich, and have a chance to chat with them.
That's an amazing institution, Zumi's, actually.
I do one of the groups I belong to. I do a newsletter for them, monthly newsletter, and well, it's a group called the Military Order of World Wars. It's a veterans group.
Oh, really?
And I do a newsletter, and that really has given me a chance to master the art of organizing something on with internet materials, pictures, that sort of thing. So that takes up a lot of my time. I go south for the winter, as you know.
You go to Georgia, right?
We got the last house in Georgia, right on the coast, right opposite Fernandina Beach and Amelia Island, which are in Florida.
I'm a little shaky on that part of the...
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's. St. Mary's.
Yeah.
Jason and I have known each other for years, but it was only recently that I've known his activities about the veterans and stuff, and it's admirable what he's doing. And if I may beg, could I go to one of those Sherlock Holmes meetings if I keep quiet?
Oh, absolutely. You're on.
All right.
I tell you what's interesting. The public tends to forget the sacrifices made by young people. First of all, it's very young people who go into the service.
Oh, in war. Yes. Yeah.
And they gotta face some real unpleasantness, and some don't come back. And the idea that they're forgotten is overpoweringly sad. So it's a struggle. It's a struggle to do the research. I recently was down at Fort Bragg. Everything has changed. I think it's the women.
Oh, geez, don't get us in trouble now.
No,
here,
I think it's a positive influence.
Oh, positive. I thought you were going the other way.
A lot less phony macho stuff.
Hard
and-
ass. Excuse
yeah.
me. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say that here, but we'll see.
Very nice.
Listen,
So
we got to get
it's
going.
a maturing world.
You keep up the good work. All right?
Okay.
All right? Get some new batteries, all right? So,
Who cares about the clouds
Stay with
when we're
us.
together?
Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather.
what do you think, huh? Pretty cool. That pesto, by the way, is delicious. And you really have to admire Nat and Jimmy for the work they put in. And I hope they start doing lectures for adults, not just the kids at Winthrop School. Jason Sokolov continues to fascinate me with the variety of interests that he has in his retirement, okay? We'll be coming down off the mountain for our next show. This is a very short stint we're doing out here in Colorado. Obviously, we couldn't get the audience in here unless they were mountain goats or climbers, all right? So I want to mention a couple of things I usually do. I've extracted most of this from our bulletin that I constantly remind you to, if you don't receive it, come down or call up the Council on Aging. It's also available online now. And by the way, if you're not familiar with computers, computer courses are given down here, and there are computers to be used at the Council on Aging, free. Come in, sign up for some open time. Somebody around will help you if you're unfamiliar with it. It's a cool thing. But anyhow, we got the Christmas party coming up at the Town Hall December 4th for the astronomical sum of $10. For that, you get a delicious meal that is provided by Vinwood Caterers, and we always have some of the entertainment from the Ipswich High School. It's really well worth it, and we also give out prizes. There's also a thing that we've just come up with, thanks to Sheila Taylor, the director of the COA. It's called the holiday gift idea. As you know, we have a variety of trips that we do, day trips, King of the Road trips, extended trips, and you could give a ticket to one of those trips, okay, as a stocking stuffer or as a big gift, okay? Give it to the person. It will not be for a specific trip, so they can just come down and use it if they want to do one of the King of the Road trips or what have you. Also, we've got a couple of new programs. One is a Friday movie. Starts at 1:30 every Friday. It's kind of a cool thing. It's free. So call the center sometime during the week to find out what the movie is. Not bad, huh? Anyhow, with that said and done, hope you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned. This is Paul Valcour from COA Today, Living Smart, Living Well. Remember, do just that.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds if we're together?
Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather.